Hey everyone, Theo here. Today I'm reviewing the Epomaker EK68 mechanical keyboard. First of all, a disclaimer, this is a review unit provided by the company. In this video, I'm just going to present to you my findings so that you can decide whether or not this is worth the money. And the official retail price for this keyboard on their website is US $89.99. My review will be from the perspective of a visual content creator, so there will be a segment in this review where I talk about graphic design workflow with this keyboard. And do note that even though you see the light flicker in this review, that's actually due to my camera settings. In real life, the light does not flicker. So this is actually a 65% keyboard, which has 66 keys, and this rotating dial here which you can press down to mute or unmute the audio and adjust volume. This keyboard supports 3 types of connection: 2.4 GHz with the USB-A receiver that's included, which you can store here in this slot. There is Bluetooth 5.0 and USB-C cable, and you can switch between the different connections by using this switch here. Bluetooth can be paired to 3 devices, and this keyboard supports Windows and Mac OS, so when you switch the OS, the keys will switch automatically. The keys are replaceable and the switches are hot swappable, and there is RGB lighting. I'll show you some of the many RGB lighting patterns later on. This keyboard is gasket mounted, so there is foam on top and below the printed circuit board for shock absorption, and the overall typing experience for me is excellent, and I really love the sound that the keys make. The bottom line is this keyboard works really well. However, this is not a keyboard for everyone because of the 65% keyboard layout. There are no function keys at the top. To use the function keys, you have to use the function plus the number buttons. There is no control button on the right side, so this keyboard is not ideal for those who use a lot of keyboard shortcuts. There is no number pad, so if you have to use numbers frequently, this is also not a keyboard for you. But other than the limitation with the 65% keyboard layout, this keyboard performs really well, and for $89 I do feel like it's worth the money. The main downside to this keyboard is if you want to use the beautiful RGB lights, the battery life can only last for a week. Another downside is there is no light indicator for the caps lock button, and light doesn't pass through the letters on the keycaps, so this keyboard is challenging to use at night even if the RGB lighting is very bright. So it says here that this keyboard is designed and manufactured by Epomaker. Now there is another review for this keyboard on YouTube where the reviewer actually has an issue with this claim. I'll link to his review in the video description below. Basically, he says that this keyboard base is the same as the GMK67 that you can find on AliExpress for US $54. So this design is the same as this design. The main difference is you will have to DIY this kit, so you have to buy the keycaps and the switches separately, and you have to fix up all your keys. So that's the main difference. In other words, this can be considered a white label product. A white label product is basically a rebranded product. For example, this iPad magnetic stand is sold by Lulu, but this design is also sold by other companies as well, just that the brand here is different. And this Apple Magic Keyboard Alternative is also a white label product. This does not even have a brand, so this can be sold by any company. I don't really have an issue with white label products as long as they work, because I mean, if it works, it works. The main thing I'm concerned with regarding white label products is the warranty, so do read up on the warranty that's provided and check out more reviews online. Epomaker provides 1-year warranty for this keyboard. So the main difference between this versus GMK67 is this comes pre-built. I guess you can save some money if you DIY your own keyboard, but personally for me, I prefer pre-built keyboards. So these are the items included in the box. There is a rather long braided USB-C to USB-A cable. There are 4 replacement keycaps for escape, enter, backspace, and space bar, and these are additional switches. There are 3 options for switches with this keyboard. There is the Epomaker Flamingo, which is probably this one, judging by the color. There is the Gateron Pro 2 Yellow, and lastly there is the Epomaker Bluebird. There is also a manual included, and this manual is very important because this has a list of keyboard shortcuts that you will need to access the function keys and other shortcuts, such as the ability to switch between lighting effects. The PDF for this manual is available online, and I will link that in the video description below. Let's talk about the design. There are 2 color options available for the keycaps. This model features the black and gold, and the other model is the black and purple. The black and gold color combination looks more pleasing to me. This is a 65% keyboard, so there are no function keys, which makes this keyboard more compact. This is actually compact enough for me to place it on the palm rest of a 16-inch laptop, but not on a 13-inch laptop. This keyboard is much thicker than I expected, and it's quite heavy at 0.8 kg. The build quality is very solid, and behind there are collapsible feet, so you can pull out one small one for a small height increment and the bigger one for more height increment. I usually like to use the small one, and there is another rubber feet here. And the rubber feet have very good grip on the table. The typing experience on this keyboard is terrific. The tactile typing experience is excellent. The keys sound really good, and the sound is dampened by the gasket mount. You can also hear the dial as you turn it, and there is subtle feedback. So you can use this to adjust the volume. When you press down and press again, you can mute and unmute the audio. The selling point of a 65% keyboard is the size. Without the function row and the number pad, this keyboard is made smaller, so this will take up less space on your table. But due to the missing function keys and the number pad, and also the missing right side control button, this keyboard may not be suitable for everyone. For example, as someone who likes to use a lot of keyboard shortcuts, I do prefer having the extra function row with the function shortcuts, and since I use a lot of numbers, I do need that number pad. And I do use a lot of keyboard shortcuts, so the missing control button here on the right side is a major deal breaker for me. Without that control button, I cannot control O to open, I cannot control plus to zoom in and zoom out, I cannot move objects above or below layers with control shift bracket. So the missing control button is a deal breaker for me. And when you switch this keyboard to Mac OS, this button is not command, this button is option. So you can only get control on the left side, control Windows key option, or if you're using Mac OS, this is command and option control. Usually on the left side of the number 1 key, there is this button, but here it's replaced with the escape. So to get these 2 keys, you will have to press either shift escape or function escape. To access the function keys, you can press the function button together with the numbers to get F1, F2, F3. You can use the function buttons with this backslash to change the lighting modes. You can use function button up and down arrows to adjust the brightness of the backlight, left and right arrow to change the direction of the lighting pattern. For pairing the keyboard with your devices, you can use cable connection or 2.4 GHz with the USB-A wireless receiver, or you can use Bluetooth, which allows you to pair up to 3 devices. Bluetooth pairing is quite straightforward. Q, W, and E each represents a separate device. So just press and hold the function button together with one of these buttons here to go into Bluetooth pairing mode. The light here will blink, so now you can pair. And to switch between devices, just press the function and switch between the 3 devices. There is a battery life indicator here, which is not very useful. To see the actual battery life percentage, you will have to look at your computer. I wasn't able to see the percentage on my iPad and Samsung tablet. If you use the RGB light, you will have to charge the keyboard every week. If you don't use the light, the battery life can last for weeks. And since you are already getting this keyboard, use the lights because they are so beautiful and easily one of the main selling points for getting this keyboard. And even if the battery runs out, you can still connect this to cable and use it while it's charging. So let me show you the different lighting patterns. To switch between the lights, just press the function key and the backspace. So this is the colorful light. There should be some names for all these lighting patterns, but I don't know what they are, so just look at the patterns yourself. This looks like Christmas lighting. This is pulsing light. Okay. This is nice. Okay, this will light up the whole row. We have moving rainbow light, and to switch the direction, you can press the function and arrow key. Yep, so now it's moving to the left side. There are many lighting patterns to choose from, so I'm very sure you will be able to find one that you like. And the lighting is very smooth. And you can increase or decrease the brightness by pressing the function up and down arrow. And when you see the red flashing light, it means you have reached the maximum brightness or the lowest brightness. This is pulsing from the center. I love the lighting, it's really beautiful. Alright, to conclude, this is a beautiful keyboard with solid build quality and excellent typing experience. The downsides, battery life can be better. I mean, the keyboard is already kind of heavy. Why not just make it slightly heavier with a bigger battery? The main limitation with this keyboard really comes down to the 65% keyboard layout. So if you are fine with the missing function keys, the control button on the right side, the numpad, this is a pretty good keyboard. And to know whether or not those missing keys will affect you, just use your current keyboard without those keys and see whether or not you can get used to those missing keys. So, is this worth the money? Well, you can decide based on the findings that I have presented. All I can say is I really enjoyed using this keyboard, but this is not the keyboard for me for the type of work that I do.